Webflow opens the web design door. Now let's build daily interaction number 24. Hey, what's up everyone? John with WebDev for you, and welcome to the Daily Interaction series, where every weekday we build a new interaction or animation in Webflow. Today we're going to be building a line menu animation on hover. So here to the left, when I hover over these lines, we can see they expand and they reveal a number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if I click on any of these menu items, it takes us to the different sections of the website. All right, looks good. So it can be a nice way to let users know that they can scroll to different sections of the site, and it has a nice animation here, so when the user hovers, the line expands and the number appears. So first we're going to add the different sections to the website, then we're going to create the menu and add the interaction here, the hover interaction, with the line expanding and the number appearing, and then we're going to link these menu items to the different sections of the site, so we have that scrolling when the user clicks on the menu items. All right, looks good. Okay, so yeah, this is what we will be building today. To view more daily interactions and premium content, visit webdevforyou.com. Also, be sure to subscribe below to receive a notification every time there is a new daily interaction. Okay, so here I have a blank Webflow project, and we'll start with the daily interaction class naming convention. So it's the daily interaction number, so today is 24, and then the element. So every element on this site will have a d-24 in front of it, and this is for consistency purposes, and so that we know we're working with daily interaction number 24. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is add all the sections to the site. So to do this, I'll add an element, I'll add a section, I'll give it the class name d-24 section. We'll just say d-24 section. And for the height, I'll set it to 100 VH, so it spans the full height of the viewport, and it will be the full width as well. Then I'll scroll down to background. I'll set the background color to black. And for the display setting, I'll set it to flex, justify center, and align center. So anything I place within the section will be in the center. So now I'll add a subheading so we can label each section. So I'll add an element and I'll select heading here, and we'll add an H3 for like a subheading. And I'll give it the class name d-24 H3, and we'll change the type a bit. So I'll say circular bold, set the font color to white, and I'll double click in here and name this section 1. All right, looks good. So normally what I would do if I were building a site is to create each section and give it its individual class name, so I know which section is what in the navigator. But just to save a bit of time for this video, I'm just going to copy and paste this section, and we'll give it a combo class and change the background color. So here I'll hit Command C to copy. I'll select the body, and then I'll hit Command V to paste until we have 6 sections. All right, so here we have the next section. I'll rename it to section 2, and I'll click on the section, go into the style, give it the combo class of 2, and then for the background, I'll set it to blue. There we have section 2, then we have section 3. Right in here, I'll give it the combo class of 3, and I'll change the background color to this magenta color here. And we have section 4. Give it the combo class of 4, change the background color to this lighter pink. Section 5, give it the combo class of 5, and I'll change the background color to, let's say, this purple, and we'll just have section 6. So I'll leave section 6 black as well. So now if I preview, we have section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. All right, so that's exactly what I'm looking for the scrolling for the site. So now let's add the line menu. So to do that, I'm going to go to the navigator. I'm going to select collapse all. So here we have the 6 different sections. And I'm going to add the menu to the body because it's going to be a fixed menu. It's going to be fixed within the viewport anyway, so I can add it within the body and it'll be fixed within the site. So here I'll select body, I'll add an element, I'll add a div block, so it gets placed at the bottom. I'll go to styles and I'll give it the class name D-24 menu wrapper. Okay, so the lines are going to go in here. And for this, I'm going to set a position of fixed, so it stays fixed within the viewport. And I'm going to position it on the left. So here I'll select fixed and left. And then from the left, I'm going to move it 50 pixels so it's not all the way to the left of the site. And then for the display setting, I'm going to set it to flex right up here. Yeah, select the flex, select vertical because the link blocks are going to be stacked on top of each other. And I'm going to set it to justify center and align start. So it starts on the left of the menu wrapper. So again, vertical, justify center, and align center. All right, so yeah, I can scroll up and that menu wrapper will stay in place. So now I want to add the link blocks inside of this menu wrapper. So I'll go into the navigator, make sure menu wrapper is selected. I'll add an element and I'll add a link block. So the reason we're adding a link block is so that we can click on these lines and link them out to a page section. So with a link block, you can link out to a URL, a page section, email, telephone number, or a file. I want to link it out to a page section, so we'll do that a little later in the tutorial when we're linking out to the different sections. All right, so there I have the link block. I'll give it the class name D-24 link block. Link block. I'll give it a display setting of flex, set it to horizontal, justify center, and align center because I want that line to be in the center of the link block and the number as well. All right, so there we have the link block. That's all we need to do there. So now let's add the menu line. So here I'll add an element, I'll add a div block, and I'll give it the class name D-24 menu line. And for this, I'm going to give it a width of 60 pixels, and a height of 2 pixels. And for the background, I'm going to set it to white right here. All right, so there we have the line. If I click, we have a line right there. It expands the menu wrapper because it's set to auto, so the menu wrapper is going to inherit the width from its children elements. All right, so yeah, if we go to the link block, yeah, we have the link block and we have the menu line inside of the link block. So now we need to add the number. So here I'll select link block, I'll add an element, and I'll add a text block. So here we have the text block. It has this kind of funky blue color with an underline. So yeah, we'll change that in a sec. First, let me give it the style the class name D-24 menu number. There we have it. And to remove the underline, I'm going to select the link block in the navigator, go into styles, and for the underline right over here under typography, I'm going to select none. So it removes the underline. Then I'll go into the navigator, select the menu number again, and we'll just style it a bit. So I can double click in here and I'll just say 01 for the first one. And let's style it so we can see it a bit better. So I'll say circular bold for the font, set the font weight to bold. I'll set the color to white. And a size of 14 pixels and a line height of 20 is okay. And then I'm going to give it some left margin. So I'm going to say 10 pixels for the left margin so the line and the number aren't so close together. All right, so yeah, I double clicked and just renamed it to 01 and changed the font and the color and gave it a margin of 10 pixels from the left. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all we need for the link block. Now we can copy this 5 more times and just rename the number to have that menu. So here I'm going to copy this link block. So I'm going to hit Command-C to copy, and I'll select the menu wrapper, and then I'll paste, hit Command-V to paste until I have 6 menu items here, or 6 link blocks. Then I'll select the link block, the first one here, and I'll hold down Alt and give it some top and bottom margin. By holding down Alt, it affects the bottom and the top at the same time. So we have a bit of spacing in between each link block. Then I'll just double click into each number and just rename it to 02, 03, 04, 05, and 06. All right, so now if I preview, I can scroll and we see these menu items or these menu lines stay in place with the number and looks good. So now we can add the interaction. So when I hover over these lines and these numbers, I want the line to expand and I want the number to appear. So yeah, when I hover over the link block, that's what I want to occur. So we'll go into the navigator and let me collapse here. Let me go into the menu wrapper. So here I'll select the first link block. I'll go into interactions and it's going to be an element trigger. So here I'll click the plus. I'll select mouse hover. So we want the interaction to occur on mouse hover. And on hover, we're going to start an animation. We're going to add a new timed animation. So I'll click the plus here and I'll rename this to D-24 mouse in. So what's going to occur when we hover over the link block here. All right, so the first element I want to affect is the number. So I want the number to not be visible initially, then to fade in when we hover, and I want that line to expand when we hover as well. So here in the navigator, I'll select the D-24 menu number, go into interactions, and I'll add a new timed action. So I'll click the plus, and I'll select opacity. And for the opacity, I'll set it to 0% so we don't see it. And then for the easing, I'll set it to ease and a duration of 0.2. So all the interactions are going to have an easing of ease and a duration of 0.2. And this is just a personal preference. I find that an easing of ease works well and a duration of 0.2 looks good when the line is expanding. But you could set this to anything you'd like. So there we go. We have the menu number set to an opacity of 0%. And right here next to timing, I want to set it as the initial state. So here I'll select the toggle to set it as the initial state so we won't see it initially. And then I'll add another timed action. I'll say opacity, and this time I want to bring it to 100%. So it comes back in, and again I'll set the easing to ease and a duration of 0.2. All right, so along with the number appearing, I want the menu line to expand. So here in the navigator, I'll select the menu line, go into the interactions right up here, and I'll add a size timed action. So it's under miscellaneous. So I'll select size, and here for the width, I'm going to set the width to 100 pixels. So it goes from 60 to 100 pixels. And then for the easing, I'm going to set it to ease, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag and place it on top, or actually, yeah, ease and the duration to 0.2 as well. And then I'll click, hold, and drag on top of the menu number so they start at the same time. So now when I preview and I hover, we can see that line expands and the number appears. So I want that to occur for all of these lines. So this is where Webflow is really amazing, because rather than just affecting a single element, you can select elements with the same class. So here in the timed action, I'll select this first timed action, and here where it says affect, we can affect the selected element or a class, so the action will affect multiple elements with the same class. So I want to affect any element that has a class menu number, so I'll select it. And right here we could affect all elements with this class, and if I preview, what that would do is it would bring all the numbers in at the same time, but I only want the number for the specific interaction trigger or the specific link block to be affected. So rather than affecting all elements with this class, we're going to affect only children with this class. So action will affect only the elements inside the interaction trigger. So I'll select that here. And we know that the menu number and the menu line are children of the interaction trigger, because the link block is the interaction trigger because it has the green circle with the lightning bolt symbol, and the menu line and the menu number are inside of it. So they're children of the link block, and the link block is the parent element. All right, so yeah, we want to affect a class and only children with this class. And I'll do the same for the menu line. I'll select class and only children with this class. So now if I preview, we still only have the first element kind of animating there. So what we want to do is close this, And for trigger settings, we want to affect a class rather than an element. So right now it's just affecting an element, which is this first link block, but I want to affect a class. So any element that has the class D-24 link block will become an interaction trigger and will affect the children of each interaction trigger, which is the menu line and the menu number. So now if I go to the navigator, each of the link blocks are an interaction trigger and will be affecting the elements inside of it. So now when I preview, I hover over, we have the interaction occurring. So the next thing I want to do is have an interaction occur when we hover out. So I want the line and the number to appear when we hover in, and I want the line to go back to its original position and the number to disappear when we hover out. So here I'll go back into interactions, and on hover out, we're going to start an animation, and I'll duplicate the mouse in because it has the properties we need to create the hover out animation. So here I'll click on these three dots, I'll select duplicate, and I'll select D-24 mouse in 2. So I'll select it here, and I'll click, and I'll call this D-24 mouse out. So we don't need this initial state because we already applied it to the hover in. So I can delete the initial state, and we have the two interactions that we need. We want the opacity for the number and the size of the line. So I just want to reverse the properties here. So for the opacity, rather than 100%, I want to say 0%, so it's not visible. And then for the menu line, rather than a width of 100 pixels, I'll set it to 60 pixels, so it goes back to its original position. All right, and we are affecting the class and only children with this class because they were copied over from the hover in. Yeah, those properties were copied over when we duplicated this animation. All right, so that's all we need to do. Set the opacity to 0 and the size to 60, and it has the same easing as the hover in. So now when I preview and I hover over, the line expands and the number appears, and when I hover out, the number disappears and the line goes back to its original width. All right, and that's how we create the menu line animation, or the line menu animation. And the last thing we need to do is link these link blocks to each section. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is give each section an ID so that we can link the link blocks to each ID. So here for section 1, I'll select it here in the designer. I can select it in the navigator, and then I'll go to element settings, and here we have ID. So for the ID, I'll set it to section -1. I'll scroll down to the second section, give it an ID of section -2, third section, give it an ID of section -3, the fourth section, give it an ID of section -4, the fifth section, give it an ID of section -5, and the sixth section, give it an ID of section -6. All right, so all of these sections have an ID, section 1 through 6. All right, so now if we go to each link block in the menu wrapper, so I'll select the first link block, I'll go to element settings, and here for link settings, I can link it out to a page section. So it's this third button here that says page section. So I'll select it, and now for the section, we can choose a page section, and notice what appears here. All the IDs that we assigned to each section now appear here, so we can link the link block to each section. So here for the first link block, I'll link it to section 1. I'll select the second link block here in the designer, select page section, select section 2, select the link block, page section, section 3, then we have 4, link it to section 4, 5, link it to section 5. And notice I'm clicking on the link block, not the line or the menu number. I'm clicking, so yeah, I have the link block selected. Yeah, and then the last one, page section and section 6. And that's it. So now all these link blocks are linked to each section. So if I preview, I hover over, we have the interaction, and if I click, if I click on 2, it goes to section 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, and 1. All right, so yeah, that's basically it on creating the line menu animation on hover. I have seen this menu on different sites, and I think it's a cool effect to have kind of this menu here. It looks really slick. and the user can navigate through the one-page site by clicking on these different lines. All right, looks good. So that is it for daily interaction number 24. Yeah, if you have any questions about this, feel free to leave it in the comment section below or in the forum section for this video. But it's pretty straightforward. We have a fixed menu wrapper. Yeah, we added the sections, added a fixed menu wrapper, added the link blocks, and inside the link blocks, we added the line and the number. And then with the interaction, we had the line expand and the number appear. So initially we set it to not visible or an opacity of 0. So then when we hover, the line expands and the number appears. And on hover out, the line goes back to its original position and the number disappears. And we applied it, we applied it to a class, and we affected children of the interaction trigger, which is the link block. And we applied the interaction trigger to all the link blocks. And then we linked out each link block to each section. We gave an ID to each section and linked the link blocks to each section. All right, so yeah, that was just kind of a summary or recap there. All right, looks good. So that is it for daily interaction number 24. Let me go back here to the demo, and perfect. All right, looks good. Yeah, so that's it for this video tutorial. To view more daily interactions and premium content, visit webdevforyou.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next daily interaction.